What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you've seen my videos before, you probably can tell that I have a little bit of a southern accent, and we haven't made much southern food on this channel before, but I got to thinking this week and I said, you know what I want to make? Something warm, fluffy, and delicious. So we're going to be making buttermilk biscuits. Let's dive into this recipe. Alright, to start out this recipe, you're going to need 3 cups of all-purpose flour in a large bowl. Next, you want to sift in your baking powder. So I'm using 5 teaspoons here, and the reason that you want to sift this is so none of these clumps are left behind. Baking powder really does clump together, and if you bite into one of these, it will be very sour. Next, I'm adding in 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1.5 teaspoons of salt, then just whisk that all together. Make sure these ingredients are thoroughly combined. Now grab half a cup of cold butter, or in my case, shortening. I didn't have any butter on hand, and this stuff's been sitting in my cabinet for quite a while, and it is a direct substitute for butter. So this is what I'm going to be using. Whether you're using shortening or butter, you do want to be sure that whatever product you're using is extremely cold. So be sure that this is sitting in the refrigerator for an extended period of time. And we're just cutting this up into small cubes, that way we can place it in our flour mixture later. Mine was a little soft, so I placed it in the refrigerator for a little bit. So here I have 1 cup of milk, and to that I'm going to be adding 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. This is also a direct substitute for buttermilk, and this is how you make it. Now I'm just stirring this together, and your shortening or butter should be cold now, so I'm just placing these cubes directly into my dry mix, ensuring that they are very cold. And while you're doing this, place your buttermilk or buttermilk substitute back in the refrigerator. 2 of the key movements for this video that you need to pay attention to is keeping everything cold that needs to be cold, and being very gentle with your dough once we have it created. So I'm just breaking this apart with my fork here. I do think pinching it with your fingertips is a little bit better, but you essentially just want small little crumb-sized bits. Now I'm going to be placing in my very cold buttermilk and just kind of let this soak up for a second, and then you can kind of get in there with your hands and kind of hydrate this flour. Just toss it around and it will feel very sticky, but I promise you it will be dry in a moment. I found it good to kind of scoop the flour off of the bottom and kind of mush it together, but be very gentle here. Alright, now we're just going to flour our work surface and dump our shaggy ball of dough onto the work surface. Now I'm just going to pat it down, and as I said earlier, be very gentle with this dough. It is going to make the biscuit more fluffy the less harsh you are on the dough. And as you just saw, I'm kind of just folding my dough over, flattening it out and rotating it 90 degrees, folding it over, rotating it 90 degrees, flatten it out, fold it, rotate it 90 degrees, flatten it out. And you're going to do this a total of 4 times. This is just going to make the biscuit a little bit flaky, but still keep it nice and fluffy. Now once you've done that 4 times, you're just going to roll it out with a rolling pin or whatever you have, and we can go ahead and cut these biscuits. I would say this is about 3/4 of an inch thick, and I'm also using a 3-inch donut cutter. If you want to, you can use a 2-inch cutter. So I've just gone ahead and placed my biscuits on some parchment lined baking sheets, leaving enough space for these to rise, and as you can see, these things look like they're going to be absolutely amazing. Now if you're using a 2-inch cutter, you're going to cook these at 450 degrees Fahrenheit for 13 to 15 minutes, or if you're using the larger cutter like me and you want big biscuits, you can cook these for about 15 to 18 minutes. And I mean, come on, who doesn't want a bigger biscuit? You can hold more bacon and cheese in this thing. You got to go for the bigger biscuit. So I did have enough melted butter to kind of just dunk the tops of these biscuits in there, because let me tell you, that is some good stuff right there. And as you can see, we made some pretty fantastic looking biscuits, and you can re-roll the scraps. They will make a little bit uglier biscuits, but they will still taste amazing. Also, these wouldn't be biscuits unless we filled them with something. Alright everybody, the biscuits are done. I know you've already seen a picture of them, but they look absolutely perfect. Let's give a plain one a quick taste. Alright, that is absolutely like my ideal biscuit. It's nice and flaky on the top and around the edges, but it's still really fluffy in the middle, which in my opinion that's the perfect biscuit. But let's give the other two a try, the bacon and cheese one as well as the one with jelly and butter. You can't go wrong with bacon and cheese. And then finally, the best way to eat a biscuit is with grape jelly and butter. So here we go. That is hands down the best method to go with. Make these biscuits, put your favorite jelly on it with a little bit of butter. I promise if you've never had this, it'll be an absolute game changer. And you probably have all of the ingredients that you need in your pantry already. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like on it and consider subscribing to my channel because we're cooking good food here every single week. And I will see you all on the next one.